Welcome back to another exhilarating episode of Rockin' Bubbies. Today I have my guest host, Matt Jones, filling in for JP, who just got back from his gender reassignment.
What's up?
He is taking his time and recovering right now.
So proud.
Yeah, I'm finally glad he made the jump. No, we got some really good guests today. Got Jeremy and Seiger from Cause of Ruin.
Hey.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Pretty damn good.
Fantastic, brother.
Awesome.
I'm off work for the next 6 days.
6.
Fuck yeah.
Vacation next week, so I got to wait a little bit, but we're close.
Right.
My boss doesn't like me. I don't get to take vacations.
Or he really likes you because he wants you there all the time.
Yeah, you gotta fuck off every once in a while.
Because all you motherfuckers won't quit taking vacations. I got to work.
Yeah. I got one of those factory jobs, so I get like 3 holidays a year.
Oh, yeah.
Bummer.
This is the only job I ever had that we only get one holiday, and you can pick between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
Damn.
That's
Oh,
it.
man.
Just I haul fuel for Hucks. So, like, all you guys are out having a good time driving around and stuff. That's real cool because I got to work
We're using
extra.
your gas.
Yeah. If you guys just stop driving around, I wouldn't have to do all that shit. Yeah.
Break out the bicycle.
All these people won't stay at home.
Goddamn COVID. Hell, I was more busier during COVID than anything. Everybody's just driving in circles all the time with no shit to do. Just driving by the places they want to go.
Hey, after this, I'm going to go get some Walmart bags and go get some gas. So,
Hey, bud, fill them up.
That'll work. That's soundproof.
Make sure to
wasted
put a
more-
lid on them.
that's right. That's
I
right.
saw that those memes saying like people are afraid to take vaccine, yet they have Walmart bags full of gas in their house. Like,
That's a special kind of stupid.
You know, we learned a long time ago, like especially when I took welding class in high school, that, you know, you put gasoline in plastic or styrofoam, it burns right through it. Just melts it.
Styrofoam is fun, man.
Yeah.
That's where the napalm comes from.
yeah, I saw a picture of like a woman filling up like the big Tupperware tubs.
Yeah.
Storage tubs.
Filling them full of gas. Like, what is wrong with you?
So you guys have seen the movie Idiocracy, right?
Actually, I haven't.
Yes,
No, sir.
Oh,
we're so close.
You guys have to watch. It's with Luke Wilson. It's Owen Wilson's brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if the shit is like, we're so close to this happening in real life. So the gist of the movie is this guy is he's in the military, and he decides to be cryogenically put asleep or whatever.
I don't think he decides. I think they forced him
Yeah,
to.
they forced him to do it, and they forget to wake his ass up, and he goes like 80 years in the future, and he ends up defrosting on this big pile of fucking trash.
No, bro, it's Demolition Man.
It's like pretty.
You're all wrong.
I know. Actually, I watched that the other day for old time's sake. But no, basically the gist of the movie is that he wakes up, and him and this other lady wake up, and the whole fucking world has forgot how to do simple shit like put away the trash. Like how to get rid of it. There's mounds of trash everywhere. How to water plants. They think you water it with Gatorade instead of water because it has electrolytes.
called Brondo.
Brondo.
Oh, Jesus.
But seriously, watch it because it's like it basically the thing is like, you know, people who have good jobs and are married don't really have time to have a whole bunch of kids. They maybe have one or maybe two, but all the motherfuckers that are on welfare that ain't got shit to do but fuck all day have like 6, 7, 8, 5 kids.
of course.
And then they have 5 or 6 kids.
That's real
Nothing
life.
better to do.
Well,
real life.
that's what I'm saying. So over time, all the dumb people slowly just take over all the smart people, and everybody forgets how to do everything.
The first lines in that movie are, "In 3031, the dumb outfucked the stupid."
Yeah. So that's my
pretty
you guys,
accurate.
That's your guys.
You know, you're right. We're getting closer. We're just edging so
We're-
close
yeah.
to that.
Yeah, we're touching the edges of that.
you guys should definitely.
That's evolution, man.
I saw.
A de-evolution.
We're going.
Yeah.
We went up, and now we're coming back down.
Yeah. I saw a bunch of posts about that. When
Pray for our children.
People posting about the movie and being like, "This is what's happening now," and I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But
Yeah. Just
It
watch
makes
The
sense.
Simpsons. They'll predict the future.
No shit, right?
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen several of that.
God, they're scary.
I think Family Guy's had a few of them too.
Yeah.
All right, right on. So I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourself. Go ahead.
I'm Jeremy Bullock, and I play the guitar, and I yell obscenities into something like this thing. Yeah.
Right.
I am Seiger Giroux. I play guitar and yell obscenities when he's not yelling obscenities. So we have a clear spread of
Bash
obscenities.
Bros.
It's
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go through like the beginnings of the band and kind of the evolution of everything to where you're at, like from where you began to where you're at now. Had some lineup
really
changes and-
came to fruition in 2015. but the name and the existence of it goes back to 2007. It was, in my eyes, more or less a jam band. We would jam out, and we never really had a drummer, and then we got a drummer and another guitar player, and then the old drummer actually came up with the name, but those two guys were just dicks, and you wanted to practice 24 hours a day, and we're like, we got jobs and shit to do, but we couldn't, and so it was it just stayed a jam band for a couple of years, and we actually had a bunch of songs wrote, and
So was it more like they wanted it to be
it was
more
a project.
serious, and you guys were like more like it's a jam?
They wanted to be more serious overnight, and we're like, we want to do the work and take the long road, and do what it takes, do the grinding work. And they just wanted to fucking jump right on ship, and we're like, dude, I don't think it works like that. You know.
Well, I know, like you were in another band and everything at the time, so I didn't know if they were like wanting that to be your main priority all of a sudden. And
no, in 2000, like I said, it kind of was just it was a project, and we jammed, and we had ideas, but it never took flight and came to fruition. So, and then maybe a couple of years later, I started Spirit of Chaos, and I was in that band for a long ass time, off and on. And then in 2015, me and the drummer Derek decided to get with my good friend Ryan Criswell, who races and stuff. I'm like, hey man, you ain't racing, you want to come jam? We'll play some shows.
Awesome guitar player.
He's very talented.
He's a shredder.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's I learned a lot.
See,
from playing.
I asked that because I thought that started while you were already in Spirit. But it was before that.
We kind of we were on like a break, just taking a break kind of thing,
Okay.
Chris had some stuff going on with his, parents and family and stuff. So we just kind of took a break from it, and we needed a breath. Me and Derek were just kind of getting burnt, and we just want to do something different. But yeah, 2015 is kind of when it really started. It really came together when me and Greg Lutz and Derek Anthus and Ryan, we got a solid foundation, and we started pounding songs out and playing shows. To me, you're not a band unless you ain't played some shows and loaded your shit up in a beat up truck or a van and drove an hour for nothing to go broke and come back.
Yeah, and cussed at each other. And
exactly. Exactly. So that's the original lineup, and it's changed over the last 4, 5, 6 years.
And Seiger, you were in Skydweller.
Yes, sir.
Thigh Smeller.
Thigh Smeller.
So
Guy Sweller.
How did that transition into what you do now?
So basically, Skydweller just got to a point to where we were kind of on. We were just on different pages,
Right.
So it was just we all kind of felt it coming. So we just got to a point where we kind of, went in separate ways, and we've all talked and rehashed and stuff since then. So we're all still really good friends.
You guys put out some killer music though during that
Thank
time.
you, man.
Yeah. Awesome.
We're all super proud of what we did, and I mean, eventually I could see us maybe trying to have another go at it, but when time is right, you know what I mean. But so we split up, and then Greg had quit, and I actually texted Ryan. I was like, I might be interested in that bass spot. Then shortly after that, Caleb had went and jammed with you guys, and you guys said he was playing the show, and I was like, "That's it, I can't."
He's pretty.
I can't keep up with Caleb.
I remember you messaged me.
Caleb's a beast, man. So I'm like, okay, cool.
He's definitely good.
He was the first guy I thought of. I'm like, well, I'm going to take a shot in the dark here and see what happens.
I remember he filled in some shows at first, right?
Yeah, we were like, hey, we got a couple of shows that we need filled in on, and asked him if he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And he said, sure, man, that'd be cool. So he, learned some songs. And I think after that second show we played in Louisville, he was like, hey, man, you want to just like be in the band and shit? And so
like, we're having a good time. Are you having a good time?
Yeah, we're all having a good time. So,
well, that's the best way to figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, till you get on stage with a guy, because you never know how it's going to work when you got to spend that much time. Because you guys know how long you guys put in the hours of writing music and going through this shit. You got to like each other. And I've been in a lot of bands where you fucking hate some people,
Well, there's a big difference in getting together and jamming all the time, and then once you actually start getting on the road and like doing some stuff, like it's a whole different ball game.
And the business side of it, you start getting into
absolutely
booking and planning and marketing and this and that, and that's when that's when you really start to figure out who's in it and who's not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out because like we were kind of brother bands for a long time, Sky Dweller and Cause. So it was an easy for myself and probably Caleb as well. It was a pretty easy transition because we already knew all those dudes. We were already pretty close when we played multiple shows. So yeah, it was a real easy mesh.
Yeah. And I remember whenever you guys started playing like some shows and stuff together, I always thought that you guys fit.
Harrisburg was the first gig, and it was at Low Life's Lounge in Harrisburg.
Yeah.
And that was a cool place, man. That dude fed us alcohol for free and paid us.
Right.
And they were at the show the other night.
Oh, really?
The guy that used to own that and one of their bartenders. Cool. They were like, "Hey, we came to see you guys."
I even remember like both you guys playing Mountain Mayhem the same year that
we played.
My old band played there, and I thought you guys were like, I was like, man, they go really good.
We played Mountain Mayhem together. We played the
Rockfest, Moonstock,
and we played Moonstock together.
That's right.
Yeah. We played quite a few shows together, and we was always just a buddy band, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty.
That's always good to have though, like you know, to have a band that you can really link up with, like in the local scene, because you can like really gig a lot that way.
Yeah.
Well, we did that. Me and him did that for years when we were in a band together. We play 8, 9, 10 years together.
Long time, yeah.
And we were in SIMC, which was the Southern Illinois Metal Collective.
I still have one of those compilation discs.
No shit.
I need to find it.
I hope our song ain't on it.
I think it is. I hope it's on there.
What was it? Engine of Destruction.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah, we were in a band called Chain Driven, and we were still in high school. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. we were like the most simplistic, but kind of just like, we're just going to play heavy stuff, but we're not good at guitar or anything
Fucking
yet.
drop C sharp.
Drop 1-0, open 0-1-0.
But it sounded cool. So
we
were like, all right, let's do this.
We used to have a song called Bring It On, and Stroll would like jump on top of a speaker and go, the devil went down to Georgia and he was looking for a soul to steal. And then he said, bring it on. It was just fucking retarded as hell.
Yeah, but we had different ways to intro that song, like every show.
Yeah.
Like he would go through some old song and then just hit the punchline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we were the only ones that thought it was cool, but it still worked.
You guys thought it cool. That's all that matters.
We were like 15 when we
Still
first
good times.
jumped on this.
Yeah.
SOC, Spirit of Chaos had a song called Pop Rocks and Roofies.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So we thought it was cool, but most people were like, what?
Hey, you trying to blow your head up?
How dare you, sir? You're going to get me too'd.
Right on.
It's almost like a fucking Toadies song.
Okay, so
got raped.
just to get a little bit back on track. So you were doing the Sky Dweller thing, and you guys were buddy bands. So what ended up being the transition into this band?
So, yeah.
Ryan quit.
Yeah, Ryan quit. So Caleb was playing with him, and I honestly wasn't really doing much. And then Ryan quit, and they asked me if I'd fill in.
Mountain Mayhem,
Mountain Mayhem.
I remember that show.
So I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I'm a very objective, goal-oriented person. If I don't have something like I'm working towards, I'm bad about keeping up with stuff. So like in terms of playing guitar, I will hardly touch it unless I'm actively doing something that I'm working towards.
So you had to cram for that show.
A little, a little. And I was nervous about Ryan's solos, and then Bullock ended up playing. So I was like, cool. That's one less thing.
It was nervous for both of us.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure he's a really good guitar player.
He's insane, man. He's
I asked him. I was not to interrupt, but I was like, hey, man, I'm listening to the backs of the tracks, and I've watched him play these leads a million damn times.
Yeah, but
I'm over here in La La Land doing my thing, having a good time, and I'm like, what are you doing on this spot and this spot? And Ryan, just being a humble dude that he goes, just play it in whatever key it's in.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Like all his stuff.
Here we go.
All his stuff always, like, as far as just like a rock feel, he had that.
He had that rock feel to a T, man.
Just like,
I'm a metal guy and he's a rock guy, and it was like peanut butter and jelly.
And it always did. Like all the songs that I heard, it sounded like he was just like, I'm this old school like rock guitar player, and he could just go off, and he knew what he was doing.
It was like and even when we, like, I wear all black most of the damn time. I'm a metal guy.
Yeah.
And he's all rocked out with beads on there. And, he's doing his thing. But me and him, we always gelled good together.
Yeah.
Well, that's like me and Matt. Matt was more into harder metal, and I was more into like Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots. And I love, don't get me wrong, I love Pantera and Slayer and all that stuff. But, Alice in Chains is my favorite band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Black Sabbath.
But I think it's those pairings that work the best. I think if you have two guitars that play too much alike, you don't get very much.
No. It kind of gets
texture and depth to like in Skydealer with me and Myers. We're very different, but we mesh well. And we were able to kind of bounce off each other, so it always worked.
Yeah, shout out to him too. He's a really good guitar player.
Yeah, he's insane. Yeah, you just got to keep him dialed in.
Right.
I think
because he'll just riff. He's a riff machine. He'll just go.
I see
and you're like, that's good. Stop.
Yeah,
he's like, no, man, I'm already playing 3 riffs down the road from that.
I see he always puts videos up and stuff, and he's always got cool riffs. I don't really know him. I've only talked to him like a couple times, maybe. But I was always like, man, he's a good guitar player.
He's real creative.
Yeah,
very creative. He's a very artsy dude, and
that's awesome.
I love him for it. And he's one of the most creative people I know. I mean, he can turn out some stuff, and he was doing some chill hop stuff for a bit and making beats and doing some real ambient stuff with the guitar over it, and it was all amazing. I'm like, anytime you want me to put some vocals on this or something, because I love all that too. So but having slightly different styles, I always feel like it makes for a better end product.
I do too.
You still get some feel, but you still get some chunk. And with our genres, I think it's important to have that. You got to have those dynamics.
Yeah.
You got to be able to be heavy when you want to be heavy. But
most of the time, the more influences that you have melted into the same pot, the better it comes out.
Right.
I mean, that's just my opinion. But
so now that you guys are together, you were talking about how you and Ryan mesh together and how you and Jeremy mesh together. Do you guys have that same chemistry? Like, do you bring a different element to what he does, or are you guys both on the same level?
We're still, for me, I feel like we're still kind of on the front end of, we've not written a whole lot yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we've dabbled with some stuff, we have that.
We got a riff idea going right now for a song, and I had a chorus part to it that was just like really open, and in my mindset, I was like, oh, this is cool, but I kind of like, man, ain't nobody digging this shit. But one day I came up with this just dirty, nasty crowbar riff.
Oh, fuck yeah, crowbar.
And Caleb whips his head and goes, that's it. That's the riff. Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I know what to work with.
Yeah.
It's just one of the things, like, we get together and, like, we'll riff around with stuff, and just riff the first part of practice.
So like, whenever you guys go through your writing process, is it just like one of you guys brings the main skeletons to the song, or like, is it just like everybody just kind of forms the whole thing
just
together?
Riffing around. Caleb's got a ton of like ideas that he's had and that we've riffed around with when Ryan was still jamming.
Right.
He's got some archives.
He's got some archive stuff and ideas and stuff. Ideas he wants to bring to the table. And Seiger come with that one riff, and I was like, that's cool. That sounds like Gojira. That's cool as shit.
Well, I know, like, every band is kind of different. Like, just from talking to Matt, like, the last time I was on here, like, you come up with a lot of the stuff, but then you guys all, like, write it together. And, like, with my band, like, I do, like, the main skeleton of the song, and then everybody just throws in their 2 cents after that.
Gotcha.
So
a lot of it is with us is I'll be at home, and I do all my shit on acoustic.
Yeah.
I'll drop it D or whatever and just jam it out, and then I'll grab my electric and then see what I need to do to make it nasty. And then I'll come back to practice and I'll show it to Unc. And Unc's like, well, what if you did this?
So he just basically like tightens the screws.
Yeah, and like, because me, I have some awkward timing sometimes, and Unc kind of reels me back.
Yeah.
And then you've played with Brandon forever. I mean, I've only been playing Brandon a year. Brandon's fucking excellent at just spitting it back at me and saying, hey, dude, why don't you try like a triplet there, or try, triple it up, or do this here, or maybe let's change the tempo there.
Well, he's listening to the rhythmic patterns.
Yeah.
And what I always loved about Brandon is he's a power drummer.
He's a fucking powerhouse.
He's coming down the pipe. You know what I mean?
His crashes are the same size as his ride.
Well, whenever he plays, he hits them hard.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. He doesn't play around. Like, he hits, and it always like at the show, I'm like, I'm not miking that snare.
No,
because I know good and damn well
he just got a bigger one too.
But of course he did. He's like, hey man, do you guys have a 30-inch snare? I could just like, in fact, that's all I'm gonna play. Just set it right in the middle.
Yeah.
But he's good, and he's still got the technical prowess too. But he puts that groove in in whatever he's doing, and that groove is what really that always catches me.
And that's what I was just about to say, because with us, we're more of a groove band. Like, we all love metal, but we also like COC and, like you said, Crowbar. And we're trying, and I love blues too. So it's like we want to influence all that stuff in the middle. Yeah. And that's the biggest test for us when we were looking for a drummer. I was like, hey, my cousin Brandon, we've never played together. We, kind of known each other through our childhood and stuff. I'm a little bit older. We've hung out maybe a few times at a funeral or family reunion or something like that, but we've always been tight. And I was like, and I've come and watched Sky Dweller a couple times. I was like, let me give him a call. And it was after you guys had split up, like about a year or so. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know, man. I was like, well, just come jam with us. And it's for us, like Uncle.
That's how it always starts. Yeah. Just come hang out and have a few of these bad boys.
But with Brandon though, we probably jammed 5 times before he actually said, yeah, dude, I like this stuff. Let's do it.
Damn.
Yeah. And because I kept telling him, I was like, dude, just don't do it just to do it. Be sure you want to do it.
Right.
Because we went through a bad spell with our old drummer, and we're on good terms. He just had some shit he had to take care of, and he came in and he grooved the fuck out of it. And then I still love metal too, and if I could throw an idea at him, he's like, okay, and he kills it. And if we can get Unc to quit playing Black Sabbath all the time and maybe try something different, we'll be on the right track.
Yeah, and with Brandon, it's like I can throw out a random fucking hardcore riff, and he's like, he's ready. Yeah, but yeah, it's always fun.
So, for each of you, who is your main influences?
God, yeah,
you want me to go? You want me to go?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
I know. We all
main
have
influences on like
hundreds of influences,
like guitar playing.
Just what got you playing the music you play now, like. Man. Just
like what got you into like I want to be a guitar player?
Shit,
that's not a guitar player.
Probably.
I know that guy.
He's the best.
Probably Pantera.
Right on.
Yeah. I would say Pantera at first because I was a little kid and we had MTV, when they used to play good shit. And 5 Minutes Alone was always on there, and I'd watch Beavis and Butthead, and they had a couple of Pantera videos. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then my mom got me Far Beyond Driven when I was 13, and it had 5 Minutes Alone, and I was just that riff, just fucking. It was grooved the whole way.
That's still one of my favorite videos too.
Yeah, is that where the cymbals are hitting on fire and they're breaking glass?
And they've got the real close-up camera on the strings.
Yeah,
so he's playing it, and it's just like they're breaking the light bulbs.
Awesome
always like that.
I love that he hits that whammy bar and those strings just almost fall off the fretboard.
Fun facts for you: they had to glue that guitar back together a couple times that are in the making of that.
I could believe
it.
That's good.
Probably slam.
I got a Dimebag tattoo on my leg.
Right.
I'm a fan.
That's awesome.
I think whenever I turned like 15 or 16, I got into Mudvayne, and I got into Mudvayne on the second record, End of All Things to Come, and then I went back to the first record. But that second record didn't leave my CD player for 6 months.
Yeah.
I might have put Audio Slave in and maybe a Deftones, but that whole record just grabbed me by the fucking nutsack. Like way that...
Well, dude, you killed Happy. When you guys did Happy the other night, his fucking the whole song was great.
Yeah.
But his vocals were
so that has history back to Sky Dweller days, because whenever I knew he would be at a show and we were playing that, I'd be like, you're fucking singing Happy. Just because trying to play guitar on it and sing it at the same time, I always likened it to trying to sprint down a flight of stairs and land on your feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to do both. It's doable, but when we get done, I'm like so anytime he was there, I was like, hey, Happy? He's like, yeah.
He always suckered me into it. I'm like, sure, okay, I'll do it.
That, and when you guys did Rob Zombie.
Supercharger.
Yeah, that was fucking badass.
Awesome. Yeah.
I was really pumped up for No More Tears.
A lot of that stuff.
We used to jam that in Sky Dweller too. We just never played it out. We played like the first little intro because it's similar chords to like Sector 13, the intro we played before Recoil. So sometimes we play a little bit of that and then go into Sector.
Cool.
So it was nice to bring that full circle.
I can see the similarity now that you've said that. Yeah.
It's got a similar vibe to it. So we noticed that and we're like, oh,
that's cool.
Okay, let's just do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sometimes you don't realize like you're playing something that is similar to something else until somebody else hears it.
Sometimes I'll write a riff and then I'll realize, oh, that's another band that I just forgot that I listen to that all the time.
I always feel like the riff police because like I hear something, I'm like, that sounds like something else.
Yeah.
And it'll take me a while to figure it out. And I'm like, no, wait.
Exactly.
That's this.
Like I'll have something, I'm like, man, that That's awesome. And I'll start jamming it with other stuff, and then I'll be like listening to my, Spotify or whatever, and I'm like, oh, well, that's why it sounds so good, because I listen to this every once in a while.
Right.
So, Jeremy, what besides Pantera, what other influences really hit you hard growing up?
Probably like Dimebag Darrell and Greg Tribbett, and then I really started. My mom turned me on to rock and roll a lot more than my dad, because my dad was country. But I like Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson and all that good shit. But Mom really turned me on to like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and all the good shit. And I don't know, man. I could go on for days.
I think when you
so you're like the main, just like the old rock vein was what you were into.
Yeah, when I got into my later teen, I didn't start playing guitar till I was like 15, and then I started playing like Nirvana and a lot of punk stuff, and then just rock stuff, and then I went to jam with a friend. A guy from school, and he showed me Drop D, and I was like, "What the fuck? You mean I don't have that power chord anymore?
Never go back from there."
And dude, I started playing like Marilyn Manson, "Beautiful People" riff, and then I started playing "Walk" on the open string, and then 5 Minutes Alone, and I started learning like Mudvayne songs, and just, American Head Charge. I listened to a lot of that, and I don't know. The list goes on and on.
I think a lot of musicians, like, you wouldn't really believe what they listened to before they started playing the music they play now.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of it starts like, man, I know some guys that play some really hard shit, and like their favorite jam back in the day was Prince. Yeah. Prince and Queensryche, and then it slowly built up to heavier and heavier and heavier.
My mom was
it'll go the opposite,
My mom was big into like Jethro Tull and Scorpions and the Eagles. And
so do you
can say one thing about Jethro Tull, the motherfucker
flute?
gets up there with a flute and rocks out. Hey, he's got my respect.
Yeah.
Slaughter, and she always had this collection of CDs, and that was the stuff that grew me into it, and then I got into like Sabbath and Floyd and Zeppelin and Mudvayne and Deftones and the kind of stuff that's in our wheelhouse and growing up and stuff.
So Seiger, what about you, man?
As far as guitar, I think my top three, you kind of have the standards as far as Dimebag and Eddie Van Halen. I was always I'm still a huge Van Halen fan, and I think I heard you say something about you being a big Sammy Hagar fan.
Sammy Hagar was my favorite guitar
player. Marching to Mars
player, but
Marching to Mars is one of the first albums, like one of the first CDs I got, and to this day I'm still a huge Sammy Hagar fan, and I love David Lee Roth, and I love the old Van Halen stuff too, but I'm a huge Sammy Hagar fan.
Oh, I am too. That's the first concert I ever went to. My dad took me to Sammy Hagar. I think I was 12.
That's awesome.
And I went and saw him at the Evansville at the Amphitheater Zoo.
Yeah.
So
that's I didn't get to see him until
Metzger.
It was about 6 years ago. I saw him with the Circle. And it was cool because he'd still, he's got Jason Bonham drumming for him and all that. So I always said it's the closest I'll ever get to seeing Led Zeppelin, Sammy Hagar, and Van Halen in the same show because they played all those tunes. But my third is Nuno Bettencourt, Extreme.
Oh, right.
He was all, man, he had such precision and he could shred, but his grooves were just infectious. And like first album Kid Ego and all that, but even Three Sides to Every Story and like Peacemaker Die and those riffs that he came up with. I'm like,
I was never a big fan of them. I should probably look more into
I can send you some tracks to check out.
Well,
because,
I just like with them, I never really got into them that much. So the only time I listened to them was whenever I was younger. So
they got kind of clumped in with kind of like the 80s hair metal, but they were so much more than that.
It never stood out to me, but since you say that, I need to go back and check some of that stuff out.
And the rest of the band's killer too. I mean, their singer's great. Gary Sharon's awesome. Their bassist is, I think, very underrated because a lot of times he's keeping up with Nuno and just cruising on that bass line and just doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Cool. Cool.
But yeah, that's top three. I'd say that's kind of the big, and then, we grew up in that new metal era, so all that the Static X and the Fear Factory, that all came in too. So it was all
completely changed.
Orgy.
Yeah, I mean it's Yeah, Orgy. I'm still a big Orgy fan.
You guys remember the Concrete Corner CDs?
I used to get them in the mail.
Main Street. Yeah, Main Street Records.
Main Street Records, buddy.
Yeah.
You remember the BMG Columbia
Go
House?
see Nick from Main
12
Street.
CDs for the price of one.
Hey, you know how many times I ripped them off?
I still owe somebody money.
I know. I would sign up. I would sign up, get the 10 CDs for a penny or whatever, then switch to Columbia House, and then get those, and then I would cancel them both, get a different name, and get them
Dude, I forgot all about that shit. Yeah.
And that was back when CDs were like $25.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm pretty sure that's how I got like Black Sabbath, Paranoid, Megadeth, Countdown to Extinction. Dave Mustaine is probably, if he's not in that top 3, he's 4th for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've always been a huge Dave Mustaine fan.
What do you mean I can't eat a bologna sandwich?
I will always argue. I will always argue Megadeth over Metallica.
Me
I
too.
love
Me too.
Metallica,
Me too.
but Megadeth always had me.
I'm
the
the exact
opposite.
same way.
Yeah.
I don't like his vocals as well,
Sure.
but his guitar playing is better than anybody in Metallica.
And just the way he structured things. I mean, he was,
complex,
and he
some
even says
songs.
like, rest in peace. He talks about it in his book, and he's like, I don't know how I wrote half of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. You know, he's like, I don't know how I figured out the speed, and he's like, I don't know how I figured out all the way I structured all of that.
No, I meant doing speed.
Oh God. Well, yeah.
Yeah, he probably did some of that.
All the
did most
above.
of that,
All the above. Yeah.
They just kicked out their bass player.
So,
Yeah, that's a whole ordeal.
all right, cool. So now we've seen some influences and stuff. Can we check out a song? Let's do
Rip.
song. This is Truck Stop Indian.
I was gonna say.
Right on. That was Truck Stop Indian. All right. The guys usually like to do a segment here. It is the funniest, most embarrassing live experience.
Oh, baby.
Okay.
Either one of you, whoever wants to start.
If you've got it before me, go for it, because I got to think on this.
Yeah. So, I mean, Luckily, I've not had anything huge, but for me, the one that really, I was like, what the fuck? You know, I got so pissed off at myself. We were playing Copper and opening for Animal Waves, which if you know anything about Robert Davis and like Revis and Revis for Benton kids, Revis was a big deal, and I was real good friends with Robert's younger brother Chris. Me and Chris grew up together, so like I had their like early demos on cassette and stuff, you know. Yeah. So ended up catching up with Robert, and they were coming back to play a show, and Lori's Puppets was going to open, and they ended up not being able to do it, so they asked us to do it. So I was like, yeah. So we played that, and we're setting up for the show, and it was one of the few times that I was like nervous. You know what I mean? Because at this point, I don't really get nervous for shows. And I was nervous for this because just everything involved. We were playing a Copper. It was Animal Waves. Like it was Robert Davis. I was excited. But then we're setting everything up, and
was it knees weak, palms are sweaty, vomit on your sweater already, mom spaghetti, nervous?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. It was probably lasagna.
You were sitting at the 8 Mile.
But anyway, yeah. We're setting up, and the intro's playing, and we started. All of us in Sky Dweller were big hip hop heads, so like we had Mobb Deep playing, and that was our intro. And then we're setting everything up, and I go to start playing the first song, which I think we were opening with "Destroy the Runner." So it starts with that, and I got nothing. I'm like, fuck. So I'm looking around, and like luckily they kept the lights down, and I'm like, thank God for that. But I'm looking around trying to figure out what's going on. I'm like, oh man, my pedal board's dead, my amp's dead, whatever. And I run through the chain, I'm checking everything out, and I just forgot to plug the fucking cable in the back of the pedal board. So I plug it in, I'm like, and I was so pissed off.
So did you save it, or you totally ate it?
Luckily, it wasn't to me, it felt like forever, but it was probably like 10, 15 seconds.
Oh, right.
So, but, we came in, and it was good. And, they knew something was up, but luckily I found it quick enough and plugged it in. I looked at Caleb, and I was like, and then I went into the riff, and we did it. But that was, for me, that was like, gosh, damn it.
Yeah.
And it was just, nerves got to me, and I didn't double check. Any other show, I'd have been like, yeah, whatever. Okay, let's go. But that show, I'm like, it hurt me in my soul, you know?
It'd be easier for me to run down all the shows that didn't go wrong.
Yeah.
There's always something.
Yeah, so for sure.
What about you, Jeremy? You got one?
I do. And this was the first Metal in the Mountains at Lowry's Irish Pub. And I think I'm going to blame the bar on this one because they give all the bands, we drank for free
way too
all
much
fucking
alcohol.
night.
Yeah. That's a lot of liquor.
You fucking right. For a band that likes to drink.
Maybe that's why they only give 2 now.
That is probably, we fucked it up
like,
for everybody.
Here's your 2 tokens.
We remember that Jeremy guy.
Yeah.
But, so, I think we went on like 10 o'clock or some shit, and then it went on till midnight or whatnot. And Chris Ward, which is a good friend of mine. I love Chris with all my heart. Me and him shared so many memories, and a lot of those memories, I hold near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
On playing on stage. There's times where we'd give each other a hug right in the middle of a break or riff, and just, Chris is a good dude, man.
Great guy.
Baldy, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Baldy.
And anyway, he's got his own podcast thingy going. Yeah. But anyway.
Shooting the shit with Baldy.
Yep.
Plug.
Yeah. Shooting the shit with Baldy. Check it out. It's awesome.
Anyway, he had way too much. And he'll admit it. He drank a lot of fucking booze. A lot.
I like how you set that up.
Of booze.
That's the way to do it.
So we're on stage.
And this is like, to make him sound like a sweetheart.
This is probably our 5th or 6th show. And we're on stage, and I'm just, the whole time we're loading up, we're sound checking, and I'm just like, oh my fucking God. And he's over there fucking banging away on his bass. And the little back of the thing where the 9-volt goes in?
Oh, yeah.
So the cover, the tape on the cover, because we were poor, we were a broke-ass metal band. That band had no money half the time. But the tape came off, and the battery was dangling around. He was so fucked. I've never seen somebody so inebriated on stage at a local show anyway.
Oh, I have.
Okay. But he was up there banging away on the bass, and he was in his own world, just slapping away. And the bass amp kept cutting in and out. It kept cutting in and out. Now, here's the part he doesn't remember. I walked over and I turned it down. I new-steaded him. I went over and I did that, and we played the rest of the show, and
but you said he sounded good half the time.
Huh?
You said it was cutting in and out. He sounded good half the time.
That's right, 50%.
I was so pissed off and embarrassed, and after that, I threw my shit in the back of my truck and I drove my house. I didn't talk to him for a month, and then we finally, I met him at the pool at the Garden Glen, and he apologized, and I'm like, God damn it, Chris, what the fuck you do that for?
It's always funny, like, you can be like the closest friend, you'd be like, I'm never playing with that motherfucker again,
and you go play with the guy,
and then you're like, yeah, he ain't that bad.
That was that whole band. That was that whole band.
Yeah,
we'd either Derek would quit or we'd split up, and then I was like, well, I'll see you guys next practice.
Well, I mean,
nobody ever scheduled one again.
Just from like my past experiences, man, it seems like that's most bands.
Yeah,
like that's just the way it works.
People hear the analogy of a band being a one giant marriage. They don't understand it is a one giant fucked up marriage.
It really is, and
constantly,
like, especially whenever you're young, until you get like to the point where like you have something serious and you have like you were talking about earlier, like some financial investment and all that. That's kind of the way it is until then. Like all bands are kind of like that. Like just screw this guy, blah blah, and
Yeah, but
it's until it almost becomes like a business and a family thing where it's like you got to kind of depend on each other.
Yeah,
I do have another short one.
Things are a little bit different
if I can.
Yeah.
So it was our first national act. It was the first like touring band we opened up for at the Foo Bar, and it was Trumpet the Harlot. And it was Chop's birthday the day before, and we should have known better. He didn't wake up. He didn't go to bed till 8. We had to be there at 3. He probably didn't get to bed till probably like 9 or 10 in the morning. He was fucking partying, and dude, he walked into that venue looking like a train wreck.
Yeah.
And we're like, are you going to be able to do this? And he's just he's shaking. He's so hungover. It's bad. And he didn't have no pick me up to get him going back. And so we're at the bar and he's drinking some ice water, and we meet the guys from Trumpet the Harlot, and I'm like, hey dude, can't wait to open up for you. And Chop's just like, and that guy's like, you don't look so good. Chop goes, it was my birthday yesterday. He goes, you need to start drinking now.
Yep.
It's like, get this man some drinks.
He ripped a few shots, got him down, and he went up there and killed it, man.
Hey, I can attest to that because what would it have been? I guess 2018 Mountain Mayhem. All the guys came back to my house, and well, not all the guys, but Clarence and our old drummer Ross. They came back, and the night before, and we're like, okay, we'd been out partying and everything. I'm like, we're gonna crash, and Webster was there too. And I was like, we're gonna crash, and we're gonna get up early. We got to load all this shit, and then we're gonna, roll out there because Clarence was running sound, so we had to be out there first thing.
Yeah.
So my kid had a soccer game the next day. I'm like, okay, cool. No big deal. It's early in the morning. My kid's team didn't win a game all year. I'm like, this is going to be over quick. We're going to be done. So it was the playoffs, the championship. We go. They win the first game. I'm like, okay. So we stay. We're sitting out there. They win the second game. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like they haven't won the whole year.
All of a sudden, Beckham shows up.
It's like 95 degrees, and there's no shade. And I'm sitting out there, and I brought like maybe $5, but I didn't have any cash on me. So I had one bottle. I had one bottle of water for me and one for him. I'm sitting there, I'm sweating out all my sins, just sitting there. And they win the second game, so they go on to the championship. Well, not only does that go through the whole game, but then they tie, so they have a shootout. So I'm out there for like 5 hours. So we get through, and we come back, and I'm like, the guys are like, "Where have you been?" Blah blah. You said you'd be back in like an hour and a half or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm so sunburnt, dude. It was terrible. I'm like sweating.
Guitar strap just ripping.
I remember that.
Dude, yeah, I'm sweating profusely.
Yeah,
and like I'm like, let's just load this stuff up. And so we load it all up, and we go up. We're getting ready to go up there and everything, and I just can't stop sweating. Like I'm like sitting in the air conditioner in my house and just sweating like nonstop. So I get down, like I'm in a tank top and all this. We get it all, and we go up there, and I'm like I put my guitar on, I'm like hurting, like it's bad.
Hey guys, can we play everything halftime?
I was the same way.
Everything halftime today. Thanks.
I just told those guys, like Denny was up there hanging out with me, and I'm like, I'm just gonna have to drink through it. Like that's the only way I'm gonna make it.
I went on side stage and
that was the same year.
You were pounding PBRs like it was fucking water.
Because like I didn't drink much that whole day because I'm sitting up there and I was drinking water because I'm just like, man, this sucks.
I can attest to this.
I remember, and I just was like, we got ready to go on stage. Well, before we did, the band before us, I'm like, give me 4 PBRs. So I drink all those, and we get ready to play, and I'm like, give me 4 more PBRs. And we're up there, and remember, I had like the stage line, and I'm like, this is the
during
only
every
way I'm
song break. He
I'm
chugged a whole beer during every song break, and it was like a 10-song set list.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Well, guys, I think we should listen to another song and go to take a break.
Right.
And then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
All right, cool. This one's called A Wolf in the Winter.
Welcome to Rockin' Boobies. Also, come on.
So we're back here with Cosby.
Hey, my friend, can I use your bottle opener? Seriously, I need to open the beer. Anybody?
Well, last week we did that too, and I couldn't stop laughing because he can do a pretty good Russian.
That's good.
But we're back here with Cause of Ruin. I got my buddy Matt Jones co-hosting here.
What's up?
And we're going to get back into this thing.
Matt squared.
All right, yeah, this is another section that usually Matt, you like to hit on your thing.
Yep.
This is the guilty pleasure section.
Yes. So, everybody's got a band that they don't tell their friends about that they listen to. So going back, maybe some people don't. Some people don't, but like one of mine is back in the day was like, I fucking love Prince. But now Prince is cool now. Everybody, you don't make fun of people for liking Prince now because he's a bad man.
Right.
But what is a band that doesn't associate with anything that you guys play, that nobody would ever think that you guys would listen to and that you like thoroughly enjoy?
Meg Myers.
Dude, she is badass.
I'm a secret Meg Myers fan.
Yeah.
I've listened to a few songs. I'm like,
My wife.
This shit makes me feel less angry.
I don't know who that is.
Dude,
I'm not
she's
sure who
awesome.
it is
How do
either.
you want me? How do you want me? Wow. That solo on that song rips, bro.
Dude, it does.
That song's awesome.
It's fucking ripping.
cool.
I'm willing to check it out, but
And
I
she's
just don't. I'm
super
not
fucking
familiar.
Hot. That leotard.
Yeah, she's
pretty good looking
actually
gal.
really, really good. She's
Matt,
a good
she's
songwriter.
super
That and Paramore. I like listening
Oh
to Paramore.
man, no, Paramore, especially like the old stuff when the brothers were still in it. And my wife will contest to this. She's gonna hear this and be like, yeah. But their old stuff was awesome. Riot and all those albums.
Yeah.
I mean, it
lot of
was solid songwriting.
A lot of that stuff. Do you feel like it's more of the band or who they're recording with?
I don't know. Because I heard stories of that's why the Farrell brothers left was because they felt like it was too contrived. Like it was too much of a produced type band, and they wanted to do stuff. That was,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like my point was, like sometimes you'll hear artists and they'll put out an album and it'll have a completely different vibe than other things that they've done.
Yeah.
And you wonder if it's more the producer or the actual artist on that.
I think that's why a lot of bands, like a member or one or two members of the band will take the reins on the writing process to kind of keep the control of that within the band and less of it within the producer, which is pretty. I mean, look at Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Look at Kiss.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't tell me them guys didn't have a lot to do with the writing process.
Exactly. And like you even look at like Metallica.
Yeah.
Like
Hetfield and
you can tell
Lars. Yep.
all of their music from the time that they had like the Bob Rock production is completely different than like,
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I understand it. Like it's more of a song production. Like we're going to build an actual like big song out of this instead of just what your ideas are. And it's just like up to the general public, like what their flavor is, what they want.
Another one of mine.
I'm not saying that either one's bad. I'm just saying like you can tell a huge
It's
difference.
different,
Yeah, you can
Huge
definitely
difference.
like with
Megadeth Risk is a good example of that.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't sound like anything
Mudvayne
else they ever
Endgame.
did.
In-game.
Yeah, and I honestly don't even know that album. Their last
listened to
couple
it.
I didn't
loved
really
it.
listen to.
Yeah.
Lost
I
and
could
Found was
tell.
the last one that I know well.
I'm the same way. I'm not into their like anything they did after like the first 3 or 4 albums is.
It's like Metallica. Most Metallica fans are like, well, I liked everything until after Injustice. And I'm a Load fan. Load fan.
Oh, dude, I'm
I like Load and Reload.
fan.
I had Reload. Yeah, I had Reload, and I loved it.
4x4 ain't my bitch.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, 4x4 is
You ain't my bitch. Ah! Give me your best Hetfield. Go.
Skylar, you do one. I know you got it. He's a celebrity anyway.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, yeah.
All you gotta do is go, yeah,
Ooh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
There you go.
I don't know.
I can't.
Guilty pleasure.
That's it. So I actually thought about this before we came on because I knew you guys did this bit. Yep. And I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. Because I'm the type of person that's like, whatever. I don't really.
If it sounds good, it sounds good.
Yeah, yeah. And there's pieces of things, like, even if the whole isn't all there's still pieces sometimes that you're like, I really like this.
Yeah.
And one thing I thought of, and I have a good one, but before that, the one thing I thought of was a band that we covered in Sky Dweller, and you were at the show. And you were like, I was all in it, and then you played that cover, and I was out. I was out.
Fucking told him.
I was out. I didn't want any part of it. Then I was like, well, hey, whatever, And Limp Bizkit,
Jacksonville. Yeah.
Fred Durst, he wasn't the greatest lyricist and all that, but musically, even if you just take the vocals off of it, which I do think he had skill as far as writing more popish type hooks. Like, it's shit that got stuck in your head, but the music, like, Wes Borland is one of the most underrated guitarists.
$3 bill. $3
bill is crazy.
That was hardcore.
But the shit he does on guitar and even bass and drums.
He did a good job as far as like tapping into the vein of what was going on and like writing hooks that were going to be catchy for that generation and all that. And I mean, you see what it did for the band.
Yeah. And it was all super catchy.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't super deep. It wasn't anything like
it wasn't deep.
You'd be
at
like,
all.
oh, he's such a poet, but it was catchy and it layered over the music well. You know what I mean? So
hey, everybody likes to hate on Limp Bizkit, but they still to this day had one of the most fucking gnarly shows ever. At Woodstock.
Oh yeah,
Well, and they
Woodstock
also
99.
Yeah.
They burned that motherfucker lit
Right.
to the
They
ground.
played
Fences came
Pops.
down.
They played Pops a few years ago, and Chris Ward, my old bass player, went there, and he said that they oversold that show by like 1,500 people, which is a
shit, at
big
Pops.
no-no.
It's a
The fire marshal showed up and said, "Y'all got about 30 minutes. Cut this shit off."
well, see, and this is all
they oversold that show by like 1,000 or 1,500 people.
1,500 people at Pops more is a fucking
Can you
huge
imagine
amount
that?
of people.
This is also my opinion on music, and I mean, like, people may not agree with me.
We're talking about music.
yeah, we might be.
Shit.
If you write music that is still earning you royalties today,
Yeah.
then you did something right.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it was you, the producer you worked on, whatever, it's all business.
Right.
Like, whoever you choose to work with and whatever you do, if you're still making money off that, guess what? You were successful and you had a good career.
Yep.
It's like
So-
Newstead. He'll live the rest of his life off the Black album.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I watched a
$1
documentary.
million a year, I think he
I
gets
watched
for
a
it.
documentary.
God
I
damn,
watched-
for real?
Yeah.
$1 million a
Damn.
year?
It's still, it still sells more albums than anything.
Jesus
Like
Christ.
right now,
Just
still.
not even Back in Black, because Back in Black
No.
sold a lot.
Metallica Black
I'm
Album is the number one selling
Ever.
rock album of all time.
Hey, I have a computer. We'll
Still,
figure that out.
I can't even remember how many thousands of copies it still sells to this day.
I'm
Hey, we gotta
I know, man.
wanna
one
know.
hit. That's
I
all we
know.
need.
You got to get Bob Rock.
That's right.
We gotta find Bob Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bob, what do we gotta do?
So,
What do you need
was
from
the
us?
other? What was the other one you were going to
So
say?
I for sure went through a boy band phase when I was a kid.
Son of a bitch, get the
NSYNC,
hell out of here.
Backstreet Boys. Like I had those CD, and then I got to a point to where I was like, this is trash, and you know, my dad listened to a bunch of different stuff, but a lot of it was like thrash metal and heavier stuff, and then mom was Foreigner and Journey and those types of things. But then I got to a point where I was like, I started getting into heavier stuff. And I was like, what? And I literally broke the CDs and threw them away. And now I look back and I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know, I appreciated what I heard. And I still say to this day, they're on the first NSYNC album, they did a cover of Christopher Cross's Sailing it's a very last song on the first album. And it's like yacht rock. Sailing takes me away. But they did awesome harmonies.
You're off the cast.
Oh man.
I think it's safe to say everybody here has gone through a phase. I like techno because a friend of mine was listening to techno. I'm like, all right, Boots and Cats.
Are you saying that at one point in everybody's life you're a little curious?
You said that. I didn't say
I'm
that.
just
He's the one who lives Backstreet Boys, not me.
I tell you what, though,
Everybody's
when
a little secret
happened.
curious at
It
one
happened.
point.
I got one. When that bitch Sarah McLachlan comes on the fucking TV with
oh,
those
yeah.
fucking
Stop
dogs,
Oh,
Don't you
nice.
do that.
I love her. I mean, I fucking love her. I start fucking crying. Bitch, you get my $15 a month. I love dogs.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you play those slow motion videos of those dogs looking at me.
Oh, you know they're trained as fuck.
They're probably like super happy and like, yeah, everything's great.
All right, look sad. Look
Slow
sad,
down.
Bosco. Look sad. All right, you're gonna be a treat.
Well, what
Looks sad.
person at our age didn't like Alanis Morissette at some point? You know,
Yeah, I had it on cassette.
know
I
what
just
I'm
went and
saying?
saw her like 3 years ago.
I actually
did.
had an issue with her voice because I hated the way
No, but
I hated that weird falsetto she went into. And Cranberries was the same way, where they did that like
Janis
real
Joplin
rough,
sounds like a cat.
falsetto drop. And even before I understood like vocals, I was like, that sounds fucking weird to me, and I still
were
don't care for it.
You were thinking too deep for puberty.
Well, yeah. Because even now, like the original, like Zombie from the Cranberries and Alanis Morissette, I can't listen to them because I'm like, that bugs me. That bugs my ear. You know what I mean?
All right. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is let's talk about your deal with
Backstreet Boys?
Drift Loud and working with Kyle Bissell. Awesome engineer. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, Kyle hit us up about joining with Drift Loud and being affiliated and
Right.
being part of the team. And I was like, this kind of out of nowhere, but right on.
Yeah.
So I hit the guys up and I'm like, hey, what do you guys think? You know, this is what he has to offer. This is what he's, going to do for us. This is what he, it was a pretty good deal in my eyes.
It made sense. It made absolute
sense to jump aboard and to be a part of it. And I really appreciate, I mean, if you're listening, I really appreciate all the stuff you're doing for the band.
For the whole scene.
Taking the reins on all that shit that I'm really not good. I'll be honest, I'm not really good at all that crap, man.
Promotional shit.
I can promote a little bit, but staying on top of all that stuff, man, it can be a lot of work if you're trying to, do it yourself. And he's got a way around all that to make it happen. And, out of respect, I asked all these guys, even though I'm the founding member and blah, blah, blah. I don't think of it that way. I always ask the guys in the band out of respect because I don't want to drag them into anything that they don't want to be a part of.
Right.
And I don't want anybody in the band to be, not happy about, any decisions. That we all kind of come together collectively and try to make a good decision, for what's better for the team. So
some of the other bands that are on Drift Loud is Syraxis. How you say that?
Oh, Syraxis.
Sons of Cain.
Yeah, Sons of Cain. Mr. Shipley just hopped on. He's a good friend. Gray's Divide just hopped on. Alan and Gray's Divide. Dereliction. I'm trying to. At first, I was like deceleration.
Dereliction. They're awesome, dude. And they're all.
I know they're young.
I don't read good. Damn it.
Good. There's thrash metal.
6. I think.
I'm not sure.
I think there's 6.
I think there's 6, and I'm probably forgetting somebody. So my bad.
I'm not sure how many bands actually work on his label, but Abaddon, we recorded their probably I think 5 songs, and it was every time great experience. He's really good engineer.
Where's his studio located at?
Effingham, I believe, isn't it?
Effingham?
It's Mason.
It's
a small town right outside of Effingham.
Well, why don't you guys give him a little shout out? Tell him where you can look this guy up if anybody wants to do some recording.
You can look it up at Drift Loud Audio, driftloudaudio.com. You can look up Drift Loud Audio on Facebook and Instagram, but pretty much all the social media. You can Google it. We are part of Drift Loud Records, which is a small independent label that he pretty much helps us. He broke it down, and he just, it's his way of starting up a good label. He doesn't want a shit label, so he's helping promote bands, and that's why I like about it. I think it's probably
and he's doing it in a way that makes sense. It's not a way that because you start getting into that side of it, and it can get very sketchy very quickly. And when he kind of sent the text of what he had sent and how the deal was set up and what it would be. And I'm like, yeah, that makes absolute sense, and the way he's pulling his cut, it makes sense, so I immediately was like, yeah, I'm absolutely on board.
He's handling our merch.
Yep.
And he's handling, he'll promote shows, and, if we need art or anything like that, we can go through him and, pay him, and, he can do all that stuff. So, it like Seiger said, it made sense. So
everything I've seen, he's super fair.
Yeah.
Everything looks
he's a fair dude, man.
And,
big time.
Yeah. He actually, you can tell he puts in a lot of work. He's always promoting stuff and everything. I see it all the time. And, I hope you guys cut a track with him. He actually does really good work.
Yeah. We've recorded at Red Pill Studio, and we use Mike Miller over in St. Louis for everything we've done pretty much. But I would like to go over there and cut a track with Kyle. Let's just see what we can roll with,
Even if you just cut a track there and maybe demo it for whatever you're.
Well, we pump out singles.
Yeah,
we did when we were doing. Me and him went back and forth for a week on ideas. He goes, hey, what songs do you want? What's the cover you want on your EP for the merch? Blah blah blah.
Right.
And I'm like, well, you can put this, and this. And he even asked, he's like, well, where did you record at? And I'm like, well, Red Pill Studio, Mike Miller, all the credentials. He was very, very professional when it comes to putting everything out there. And he does take his cut, and I'm cool with that.
That's what I said, though.
And it makes sense.
But it's really a way, fair. It's fair. It's very fair.
That's the worst part about being in a band, and if you want to take it seriously, is doing all that legwork.
Well, and he's
got a way around it.
Yeah, he was saying, it's nice to be able to delegate some of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm used to being in various bands where, we kind of do all our own stuff and have to do all the legwork ourselves. So being able to have Kyle taking that part of it off of us is really nice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even with our band having a manager, it's such a relief.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
yeah.
not like
that was a big game changer.
All I got to do is just show up and jam.
Yeah.
And let other people.
That was a big game changer for you guys, and I noticed because obviously me and Clarence, we're all good buds, but I noticed that was a big game changer for you guys. Is when you had somebody else take the weight off, and at the end of the day, it's kind of worth it.
Oh, it's definitely worth it. Like you can get so much more accomplished whenever you're not trying to like split. Like, hey, you do this, you do this, you do this.
Yeah,
I've done that for a long time. I know he has too, and
every band.
It's exhausting.
Every band does that at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that ends up what you fight over.
Like
it really is. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the music. It's all the business side of it. And so it's nice to not have to.
What do you mean these t-shirts are pink?
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to not have to be that person.
That's not the font we wanted.
Right.
God damn it.
Yeah, but it's completely different whenever you're just like, okay, you don't have to worry about this crap anymore. You just like, you do your band, you do your gigs, you do all this. And I mean, like you may have to spend some money, but like as a group, it's so much just stress relief. Like,
yeah, it's nice it's nice not to have to worry about that stuff because, like we were just saying, that is the stuff that ends up causing issues.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. It's hardly ever the music. It's usually like logistical shit.
Yep. So
if you don't have to be that guy to say
exactly,
hey, why weren't you here at this time, or hey, why didn't you bring this to this, or what
How come there aren't brown M&Ms?
Everything, yeah. Why is this here? Yeah, it's just it's one of those things you have to worry about, and you can focus on the music and playing, and somebody else can be the kind of the orchestrator, and you can
that's
go
awesome.
back to
I'm
focusing.
glad that you guys got that going on. Like he's a good dude to work with. So
next,
all right. So
next song.
Now I think we're gonna jam a song called "Hard Hands."
Hard Hands.
She likes a man with the stars.
These working hands are hard to the skin and bone. My blood, sweat, and tears, effortless I've shown. 'Cause these hard hands through work to the bone. 'Cause these hard hands through work to the bone. To the bone. Tired when I get home after breaking stones. My feet and hands they bleed to feel the boss man's greed. 'Cause these hard hands through work to the bone. 'Cause these hard hands through work to the bone.
Skylar's over here getting off.
I think we need to let this finish.
Ryan Criswell.
it's like a dog humping the leg. Let it finish.
There we go.
So this is Hard Hands by Cause of Ruin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back to Rockin' Bubbies. All right, this next section we're gonna do it's the rig rundown. So you can just choose who goes first. Just kind of explain your rig, your guitar setup.
One shot.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, that's me. Okay, so rig rundown. So guitar wise, I really only have two. So let me preface this. So I'm the type of guy that I'm not a huge like buy and sell equipment and tone chaser and whatever. Once I find what I like, I stick.
Okay.
You know, so I've had my Schecter, which is my main guitar, my C1 Classic. Mm-hmm. It was one of those guitars that when I was a kid, I saw it and I was like, that's like my dream guitar. It's so awesome. I ended up being able to find it, you know, years later used and got a good deal on it. And it's still my main axe. And even now my likes are a little more minimalistic than what that guitar is, but I still, you know, it's still my baby. So it's still my main guitar.
Feels right.
Yeah.
Everybody's got one of them, man.
Right. So it's my go-to. I replaced the JB in the bridge with a DiMarzio Titan, and it's been my go-to for a long time.
I've heard those Titans are awesome.
In that guitar, it's really nice. You know, it works really well. The JB was just a little too flubby for what I needed. Right. But that's my main guitar. A couple years ago, I got a Jericho baritone that when we were in Skydweller, we played a lot of drop A stuff, and I needed something that could handle that a little bit better. Right. So I got the Jericho baritone. I can't remember the model offhand, but it's all flat black. It's ebony fretboard. It's a monster.
That's a 6.
I've seen it.
Real nice, Clark.
6, yeah. And
like we play the
real nice.
All 7. So.
Yeah. Well, and I'm the type of guy that I'm like, I don't want a 7 because I'll never use the 7th string. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I
only use about 3. So.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll never get down there. So, you know, and I've always liked Jericho stuff. Yeah. So I ended up getting that. And Ryan Criswell actually wired in the I put a Fishman Modern in the bridge, and he wired up for me.
That's what my newest guitar has. Fishman, the Fluence, nice. The new Fluencers are tight. Dude, they're so good.
Yeah,
I've always used EMGs before that, and I got this new guitar with those Fluence, and that's
EMGs are the past.
I was super intrigued just by the fact that it wasn't a coil; it was a circuit board. I was like, this is too cool, you know. So I had to check it out. So I did a little research, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in. And I talked to Ryan; he wired it up for me, and I think I paid him in beer. But anyway, so I have that. So now with Cause of Ruin, like we do drop C, and then we have it's drop A, but it's just the top string tuned down to drop A.
Or so drop C, so we just drop that down to an A, and you can bar chord like you would in standard.
Yeah. Right.
So it's pretty sweet. So
Audio Slave does it a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, hey, this works. Cool.
Yeah. So I set it up for that.
What's the tuning then?
AGC FAD.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yep. You just
so instead of the C, it's just dropping.
It's just an A.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
Just like that.
Get it?
That's how it works.
That's what it sounds like too.
Yeah, because when we started playing, I was like, "What? You doing what?" No. So I had to reset it up. But
like all of our old stuff, we played in C.
Yep.
Drop C. So that's cool. I've never tried dropping that all the way to an A.
Cold Chamber used to play in drop B,
and it plays just like if you're playing in standard. So you want to play an E in standard, you just chunk it, and it's A across the first 4 strings.
Yep.
And then you can bar chord. You can do some cool stuff.
That's awesome.
SOC I used 11 to 56 in Spirit of Chaos. I used to drop my C to a G, and you could bar the first 2, and you could power chord the last 4 or some shit.
The next 2, yeah.
And it was drop G on a 6 string.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. I got to try that too. That's pretty cool. I've never tried that.
So I have that, and then I have a 6505 on top of a 212 cab. A long time ago, me and Myers, when we were still in Anodyne Sky, decided that 412s are just too much of a pain in the ass to haul around.
What's your 212?
So my 212 is an orange. It's an orange cab, and it's got vintage 30s.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so
it's nice.
So 6505 on top of the orange 212.
Yeah, and it'll do everything I want it to do.
Awesome.
And I have a little bit of blasphemy going on right now because I'm running my HD 500X into the return loop on my 6505. I'm running all my tones through the multi-effect. So like my dirty tones and everything is coming from that.
Okay.
The reason I'm doing that, and I know 4 cable method and all that, but that's It's just like a pain in the ass. But I basically modeled my dirty tone after the 6505. So worst comes to worst, if the pedal takes a shit at a show, I can just plug direct and just kill it, and it's fine.
That's why I got rid of my Helix. I got tired of fucking with it.
See, eventually I wouldn't mind messing with the Helix, but the reason I got it is because I'm actually a huge fan of effects. Like I like being able to layer things. So depending on what I'm doing, I may have like 2 or 3 effects going on at any given time. And the pedal board allows me to turn on multiple effects at once because I can set everything to one switch, hit it and go. And that started with Sky Dweller because like as I'm doing lead vocals and playing guitar, trying to tap dance and sing and do everything at once, I'm like, this is getting exhausting. You know, I'm like trying to hit all these different pedals. So I switched back to the multi-effect. I did that, and I can turn multiple things at once.
And Sky Dweller had a lot of stuff like that going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of there's a lot of effects and a lot of layers and stuff. Yeah. So,
but it
made it easier.
That's what made it cool. Like it was like a completely different sound than what other people were doing.
Yeah,
like around here.
Thanks, man. So yeah, that's it made that easier because it becomes a lot when you're trying to hit 3 different switches, and I was also running a vocal effect pedal, so I'm trying to hit that and trying to hit this.
So you were tap dancing.
Yeah, it was awful, and it just became one of those things where like, well, when we're playing a show, you'll get what I remember. You know what I mean? What I remember to hit. So that helps that, but that 6505. Ironically enough, I was still in grad school when I got the 6505, and I was on a like school trip. We had a conference we went to. And we were in the SUV with the grad director, with our main instructor, and we stopped at Guitar Center in Fairview. Some of the girls went in and went to Gordman's or whatever, and I went in the Guitar Center. I walked out with this fucking 6505, and I'm like, "Hey, can I put this in the back?" They're like, "Yeah, okay," and they had no idea.
Oh yeah.
I've changed tubes since then, but that on top of that 6505 or on top of that orange cap, it's just it sings, man. But awesome. That's it. That's I probably will never change my amp.
What is what'd you say your multi-effects was?
It's a HG 500X Line 6 pod.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So like the step down from the Helix LT, more or less.
I know what you're talking about.
So
awesome,
I tried the Firehawk first, and it was awful.
Oh, really?
There was like a huge delay in the click and the way. Yeah, I
had one.
Line 6, they have awesome stuff though.
Yeah,
I played them forever until just here recently. So.
Right. And they're good about. They stay on top of it. They're constantly updating.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and you can hook it up online and download all kinds of new shit.
You always
upgrade
have
it.
Yeah, firmware updates and stuff.
I've downloaded a Tesseract patch to get that like Tesseract 1 high layer delay sound that's got the octoverb on it, and it's exactly right.
And it cuts real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'll shut up. Right, Bullock, go.
All right.
Your turn.
Huh? What? You were talking. I couldn't hear you.
I play guitars.
Rig rundown. I'm a Randall guy. I've been a Randall guy for probably 10 years now. And I've always wanted an RG100 because I'm a big Dimebag fan. So I bought my RG100 off a good friend of mine for like $250. And it's like an 86 model.
Yeah.
Right.
And I didn't want the dime tone. That's not my, I love that tone he's got, but I'm not trying to chase that like every other motherfucker out on the planet.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Scooped.
So I pretty much punch an overdrive in front of it, and I EQ it the way I feel like it needs to be EQ'd, and I roll with it, man.
So what overdrive do you use?
Actually, crazy enough, Ryan Criswell modded a Boss overdrive to the hilt. This thing's fucking all the capacitors and it just everything's gutted and good quality parts put into it. And he gave it to me for my birthday, man. And it's kind of got like you pop the top open. It's got that Mike Fortin knob that gets the grind going.
Oh yeah.
And I don't use that's just way too much for me, man. Yeah, I don't play 8-string. But it's I don't need
look
that,
at me. I don't play them either.
You would.
He was looking at me like I don't play no 8-string.
Fucking 9.
I would
9.5 string.
If I had one.
I just use that overdrive because it's a good overdrive.
Sounds fucking great.
I've got a Zach Wild overdrive with his autograph and thumbprint on it because he smudged the autograph and put his thumbprint.
Even better.
You could clone him
But
now.
see, that's even like that.
Jesus Christ, hold on. You could clone him now.
That's a good idea. I never thought of that.
That's even like the RG.
Sorry,
that
Seiger,
you were
you're getting ready to get
talking about,
replaced by a clone.
Hey,
all
man,
of those
that's okay.
sounds, all of those sounds that all those bands had, every amp was modded. It wasn't. You're not. You can go out and you can buy that same amp, but you're not going to sound like that.
Right.
Like,
No.
It's like Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstrap, man.
Have you seen that meme that's like the tone is in the hands, and then it's like the whole rig rundown and it's super complicated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like all those old bands, like especially, you know, like our generation looking back on the music that we grew up on, all like that was before anything digital was around or anything. So all of those amps were modded by somebody, you know, who made them. I mean, for the most part.
Well, not only that, you're
super
fucking
hot.
mixing Fender and Marshall and
Yeah.
and just daisy chaining the shit out of everything. you know, and getting a completely different sound.
But I mean, so
Dude
many
can't just get
so
out.
many people chase after these heads and stuff, and then once they get them, it's not the thing that they were after.
I can get that kind of similar tone when I EQ it just right. It's there. It's got the sound is there because
for the most
the
part.
amp is there
Yeah.
for the most part. But I don't play a Dean. I don't play a Bill XL 500. I had a Dimebucker and a Les Paul and thought it was cool, and it was like, no, this is not what I want out of life.
Yeah.
But I pretty much have my RG100. I have a RX cab, which is a cheaper cab, but I put greenback clones in it by WSG Warehouse.
Oh, sweet.
And then I'm a pedal guy, but I'm thinking of getting like a Line 6 M9 just to make life a little easier on me. But I've had 4 pedals on a pedal board at one time. I like chorus, wah pedal, a tuner, obviously. What the fuck is going on?
Do you use a compressor or
Nothing. I'm just I'm guitar, couple effects, overdrive, pound the amp down,
And then,
put a mic on it.
what about as far as guitars?
I'm a Les Paul guy. I was a Fender guy for a long time. I love playing Fender guitars. And then I had a drum set and I played drums. I'm like, well, I'm going to try drums. So I played drums for about a year when I was like 20, 21. And I sold that drum set to buy a Les Paul and I never looked back.
Yeah. I was never a Fender guy. Like they just didn't feel good to me.
I love tellies nowadays. If the neck isn't too thick, that's what always stopped me with Fender.
Exactly.
Is the thick was always like you felt like you were playing a piece of like a 2x4.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's always really and I don't know, just the shape of it and how thick it is, and then it's just so flat on the top. It's just like it feels like you're holding something weird. I always thought
This is actually the last show we played was the first show I didn't play a Les Paul at.
Really?
It was the very first show I didn't play a Les Paul.
Both my Les Pauls, I bought one of them off Rob Wisenhunt, which is a good friend of mine.
Badass guitar player.
And I got a DiMarzio Super Distortion and a 59 for passive. The white pony.
Yeah.
You know, it's got the EMG 5766 solderless. So it's an Alnico 5 magnet, but it's active. So it's really, I don't know. I think it's fucking the shit.
It sounds great.
It sounds awesome.
And I've got my original Les Paul, which the neck had just over the years of abuse.
Oh yeah.
It cracked. And I remember getting drunk one night and trying to glue it back and get it straight, and I just got pissed and threw it. So it sits up in the closet.
So for like all the people listening, like, you know, you were talking about the different magnet and that, like, what does that affect?
Mid-range.
Yeah. So you have more.
It's
mid-range.
crunchy. It's tight. It's real punchy.
Exactly.
It's not woofy in the low end. It's real tight. It's just, I don't know. There's I've got a Randall Diavolo, which is a down. I got to fix that fucking thing. And I've got a PV Valve King, which it's a kick-ass head for cheap.
Yeah.
But I always go back to that RG100.
Yeah.
There's something about me and that amp when it's never let me down. I've threw it in the back of a fucking truck and it still plays. There's something about that fucking amp.
Well, I knew what you were talking about, but I know that like people, people listening, they're like, I don't know what he's talking about.
I've got an amp cabinet I've had like 15 years, old Marshall.
Real quick, but like he said,
shit.
you can have all that shit in the world. It don't matter. You have the tone in your hands, and your hands, and my hands, his hands. I could play through his rig and not sound like him.
Yeah, sure. Everybody plays different, and then whatever they play in and however it's modded is going to give you a completely different.
You
sound
guys
than
make
anybody
line.
else that
You
plays
guys
that.
like. I'm not a big Line 6 distortion fan.
Yeah,
but I really like their effects. You guys make their distortion sound mean.
Yeah,
You guys get the sound. I don't know how you do it.
well, we played it we actually just quit playing it like this past year, but yeah, we played line 6 for
a long time.
Yeah, no. Webster showed up with that EVH, and I was like,
yeah, he's
Yeah,
got
no
a,
shit, right?
he's got
Right.
an EVH 3 now, and I've got a Kemper.
ooh.
So
Kemper's good. I've recorded
Yeah.
with Kemper.
yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I do think there's something to be said about, you start playing guitar when you're a kid, and you grow up and you learn, and then you figure out how to tweak things to make it to your liking.
I got $50.
Well,
Yeah,
Where's it
yeah.
going to take me?
That's why-
regardless what it is.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
why we always played the line 6 because we
Right.
we didn't really know what the hell we were
GFX
doing. We just
212.
know what sounds good.
But you could tweak
had
it to
one.
get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Me too.
You just tweak it until it sounds good, but you've already got it there to mold whatever you're doing.
Right.
And then from that point, then once we figured out kind of what we were doing, then we moved on.
Did all
Right.
of us have crate amps to start off with?
So
Yep.
Ooh.
No, actually,
you
my
played
first
a
amp
crate.
was a PV Rage, but I had a Crate 210.
Yeah.
I had,
And I blew it
had the
up.
best sounding crate that's ever
Me
came
and you
out.
both
for
had
metal.
the same one. Yeah. It was the 220 watt.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it was, but I bought it 3 times.
Yeah, me and him had the same head.
I
when we
kept
played
selling
metal
it.
together.
I
was
kept
nasty.
selling it, and then I
Don't
would buy
hate
it back.
on Crate.
So I think,
Yeah.
ironically enough, my first guitar amp that I gigged out with wasn't a crate, but the first amp that I would sing through at band practice was a crate.
Right.
I would sing either guitar or bass amp. We had a buddy of ours had a bass crate amp, and then a buddy of ours had a guitar crate amp.
Right.
Trucker
And,
talk.
I've sang through both of those things, 12, 13, 14 years old. And then, yeah, as far as guitar, I had the cheaper, I don't even remember the model, but it was a cheaper Marshall. I bought a Marshall for like $350, the full stack or half stack. And that's what I started like really seriously gigging out with. And then from there, I got a Blue Voodoo, but I screwed up because I had a Blue Voodoo and it was a custom cab, but it had Eminent speakers in it. And I realized very quickly I did not like Eminent speakers.
Oh, yeah.
It had like the metal set, so it
Well,
was
that
like
was
two
the- that was the
Texas
big-
Heats and two Swamp things, and it was super muddy.
Well, that was the big Sammy Hagar deal. Like he had the Blue Voodoo
Sludge,
Yeah.
bro. Sludge.
He was pushing those
Doom
real
metal.
hard.
I heard that head on a
Next
set
song.
of Celestians, and it was amazing. But on
Yeah.
the Eminence, I was like, that sucks.
All right. We're gonna move on to our next section. This is one that Matt does.
This is my
And
segment.
This is the trucker talk.
This is the trucker talk with a camo. All right.
Camo.
So I've been driving a truck for almost about 11 years now. And I'm not one of those super truckers, nothing like that. I don't
Super trucking.
But I like
Ice Road Truckers.
But what I really thoroughly enjoy is listening to the radio. People still, especially when I first started, people talked on the CB quite a bit.
Hey, Burger 1-9. I got a bogey on the barrel there.
Convoy.
So I get a kick out of some of the shit they talk about, and I thought it'd be a fun segment to bring up some of the acronyms or some of the words that they say, and see if you guys can figure out what they mean. So you might.
My old roommate was a truck driver, Danny Claiborne.
Oh, so
special
advantage over
Oh
there.
shit! Okay.
But
Well, we'll start off easy. Everybody knows what a bear is, right?
a fucking cop, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Pokey. Bear.
What's a bear bite?
Oh, damn it.
A bear
Pulled
bite.
some-
A ticket?
Yeah.
Cop pulled somebody over.
I don't know that
fucking-
one.
Got an alligator tail.
How about a? How about
I remember
road,
that one.
A road strip. What do they call them? Spike strips.
Hot lizard.
Oh, I don't know.
That's a good guess.
Hot lizard.
Not sure.
Oh, I thought that's what a bear
I
bite
remember
was.
what the alligator tail
That was
was.
my guess.
No, bear bite speeding ticket.
It was a dark and moon on the 5th of June. And I can't remember what was pulling hog. Campo repeat with a reefer on and a Jimmy Holland hog.
All right, so alligator tail. I remember that, but
Yeah.
I'll let these guys guess.
What's an alligator tail?
Somebody blows a tire tread comes
Lost the
off.
tread.
Somebody
Okay.
leaves it on there. Looks like an alligator.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Motion lotion.
So
I remember
Oh, shit.
that too.
So this was one you did on a past
Yeah,
podcast,
yeah.
and I heard
It's
it,
just
but
too-
now I
it's
don't
too good
remember what
not
it
to
is.
repeat.
Oh God.
I
heard you
do
say,
have
but
a
I
funny
don't
trucker
remember.
story, but I'll wait.
No. Evil Knievel.
Mm-mm.
Motorcycle cop.
Ooh.
Hey, that makes sense.
What was motion lotion?
Motion lotion was getting fuel. Gotta get some motion
Okay,
lotion.
Okay. I get that.
Cornflake.
Ooh, corn.
That's a new one. I haven't heard this one yet.
I haven't either. This is the first time I've seen this one.
I feel like that would have to do something with another driver.
Does it got to do with a farming equipment?
Is it somebody like staying on your ass or
Yeah, pretty much.
like a tailgater?
So somebody who's constantly coming up trying to pass you and backing off.
Boom.
Okay.
Oh, right,
Call.
right. Good.
All right, here we go. Let's see.
Not a frosted flake. A cornflake.
A donkey.
Bitch.
A donkey?
Yeah.
Donkey.
A smaller
No.
trailer.
Donkey. Jesus.
No clue.
Bears on your ass.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
I got you.
Is there a term for the? My dad used to be a truck driver. Actually, when I was like 6 years old when he quit truck driving.
Right.
But he would talk about truck driving. Pup. Oh shit! It's when you got them two small trailers, pup trailers.
Oh, yeah, you're pulling doubles.
Pulling doubles.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gotcha.
that's what he called it something different. I don't know.
Oh, fuck, I used to know it.
I can't remember the name for it like me.
Double pupping.
You ain't worth a
Something like that.
If you don't know it, you ain't worth a fuck as a trucker. That's for sure.
Dude, I told you I'm not a trucker.
Do you have
I'm
a-
just a dude that drives a truck?
Do you have a special name for the double wide tires?
Super single.
Super single.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Those are
prefer?
I'd rather have duals.
Your driver duels? What's the
Yeah, because
pros
if you're
and
one
cons?
pop, at least you still gotta.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you blow a tire and you got duals on, if
Right.
you blow one tire, you still got another one. You can get your ass somewhere to get it fixed.
You can fucking ride it out.
But if you blow a super single, the whole fucking thing's gone.
Super
Yeah.
singles are wider, so you get a
Yeah.
little more traction, don't you?
No, you would think so, but like in the snow and shit, they're terrible. They spin out.
Why
real
in the
bad.
fuck do people run them?
So what
Because
blows
they're cheaper.
louder?
I've never blown a super single.
Okay.
The loudest boom I've ever had, and it's the scariest day of my life, was I blew a steer tire in a curve, hauling
Yeah.
a big ass load of grain, and about took me off the road and about rolled it.
Ooh.
And it sounded like a fucking shotgun going
You
off.
are a trucker because that was the most trucker sentence I've ever heard. I blew
So-
a steel
Yeah.
tire on the rain. And,
Steer tire, dude, it's the scariest thing in the fucking world because you lose all control.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm running 60 mile an hour. It's actually, Rex and Curve.
Yeah.
I was hauling grain for the Theory Girls, and when I went to school I went to SIC and got my license.
Yeah.
And one of the teacher actually, I remember this shit and how I did it and remembered it. I don't know how, but he said downshift and fucking hammer on it because it'll lift the front end up. It'll take the weight off the steer tire.
Okay.
So I was in that fucking curve, fucking came in, eastbound and down, fucking getting it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, kadoosh! And I fucking went hard right. And I just clutched it, threw it in fucking nine, put it to the motherfucking floor.
Popped
and
the
it just
fucking wheelie and rode it.
It's kind of like
Pouring the
that.
wood to it, man.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. You start sliding on ice, you pop it in neutral.
Yeah.
You catch grip a little bit better.
Yeah.
In neutral because the car is trying to, or truck or whatever,
backside.
You want
trying to catch.
you want to pull away from it. Like if you're starting to jackknife and shit, the worst thing you can do in the world is hit your brakes because you're making the trailer come to you. So you want to actually ease into the fuel a little bit and try to get yourself away from it. I've had trailers do that on ice and shit, and it's fucking stupid. But when they start kicking out, you're just like, I fucking don't know, dude, my hands. And basically, you want to grab a lower gear with lower RPMs so that you're not spinning out, and you can gradually get speed behind you. And once you get that trailer back behind you again, fucking let her off. Go slower.
I told you these colors don't run.
Yeah, I'm done with that section.
All right on. So let's move into our last thing here. So I just wondered what you guys, like each one of you, what your views are on like the past year, the effects of COVID, and what you think that this coming year is going to be like future wise.
Before COVID, it was me, Ryan, Caleb, and Steve, and we did a live stream with one of Caleb's good friends that does all the live stream of SIU ball games. So we paid him for a service, and he brought his rig out, and we did a live stream.
John LeBlond.
Yeah, John LeBlond, man, plug, big time.
Yep.
Out. And so we did a live stream. It was like an hour and a half live stream at Steve-O's place. And that was right when it hit. And we pretty much went in the dark, man. We just wrote music, hung out, and, Ryan was like, hey, I'm going to go do the racing thing. And
I think everybody kind of like we kind of did that.
everybody
I think you
pretty much
guys
went in the
did too.
dark, man. But now that we're coming out of it, we just had the show at the Heron and Timeout, which was a fucking banger, dude.
It was a good time.
It was a great show.
That was a really good time, and that felt really good, man. On a personal level, it felt good to get out and just like get all that shit out.
Like both bands were awesome. That was like
you guys kicked ass, man.
Thank you.
I think the fit was
man.
Like the whole band, like Brandon was like, "Oh, I don't know." I said, "Dude, I'm not trying to jerk your fucking dick, but
you
guys were pretty tight, man." And
appreciate it.
I hope you guys play more shows together because you guys bands complement each other a lot.
I thought so.
I agree.
It was fun. You guys were fucking badass.
Bury Me on the Moon. I'm like, dude, that's cool as shit. Like,
Yeah.
me and Tim started fucking, rubbing elbows and bullshit.
Oh, Tim's good peoples.
He's good people, man.
Play another show, please, because I want to go watch.
I think he's a good fit. He's a good fit for what you guys do, big time.
Yeah. Tim changed it for me because I've played with some really good songwriters before, but Tim really can write songs. And he never did it before. This is his first show as a front man.
He told me that. He's like, well, I moved the bucket list and I'm going to go for it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, you're good.
He always played congas or drums or did some backup vocals, mostly congas. And he's got a badass video from when he lived in Denver where he played with this dude with an acoustic guitar and he played nothing but Tool all night long. And Tim was on congas. Fucking
I was really impressed with that show because it was the first time I'd seen you guys in this form play. Yeah. And then you guys, it was the first time I'd seen you guys in like a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I've
seen Cause Room before, and I've seen Sky Dweller.
Both bands had definitely
not that close.
Progressed so much since the last time I saw you.
Right. I think Brandon's a real good fit for your guys' drumming because, like he said earlier, that motherfucker is he's a powerhouse, dude.
Yeah.
The groove is, to me, what's going to make people's heads go do this?
Yeah.
Right.
People will groove, man, more than they will like speed out. You know,
but you got to change it up though. You can't do the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
You get burnt.
Mm-hmm. Right. But there was nothing you guys did that I didn't feel like I was.
Yeah.
I was
guys, I'm starting to get a boner.
Well, catching that downbeat.
What do you mean
getting a chub?
I loved it too because I remember like teaching you a lot of shit whenever you were first learning how to play guitar.
He was like 11, 12 years old.
Now you're a better guitar player than I am.
Oh, I should be a lot better than I am.
Ditto.
I know, but you've really
I appreciate that.
As far as goals go, we're just going to keep the train moving. Things are starting to open up. We have a show at Effing Brew in Effingham. It is going to be Sons of Cain, and I can't remember the other band's name.
It was a band I didn't recognize.
Yeah. It's one that's new to me, so no disrespect, but we just don't know you. We don't know you yet.
Oh, that's cool. Well, we'll get his, and then we'll come back to that.
Yeah. So my thing is, COVID kind of shut everything down. So coming out of that, and even booking this, the show we just played with you guys in Mudhouse, I was excited for it because we played a show in St. Louis, and they still were very restricted. Yeah, it was very restrictive as far as all the COVID precautions and stuff, and it didn't feel like a show. Right. It felt like a weird showcase on stage. Like it was just awkward, So we were ready for another show where we were able to actually have a real rock show, and you and I. Even
Are you talking about the Foo Bar show?
We've been talking for a couple of years about getting.
I'm talking about Red Flag.
Red Flag.
Oh yeah, the Red Flag show. That fucking.
It was
sucked.
Weird.
That fucking sucked. I don't give a shit. That fucking sucked.
We got offered like 4 shows there, but that's what
we got there.
Awkward, man.
Jeff and Clarence had went to a show there, and they're like, "Man, it's really like."
We had 10 minutes to sound check.
If that,
we had the worst sound check ever. Everything sounded like shit coming through the monitors, and we fucking rolled with it. Like every show.
And look, I don't like talking shit on people, but I'm no professional sound guy, but the way we've talked about this, the way he EQ'd stuff, even through the monitors, we're like, what is happening? We're like, all of our rigs were going through a metal zone pedal, and it was just coming back at us.
Yeah.
We're like, what is happening right now?
Real fucking bright.
But everything felt, everything was weird, and it was hard to.
I had my mid-range cranked right here. My mid-range was dialed out, and it sounded like the Black Album.
But you know what? We love you, Red Flag. Keep booking us.
Yeah.
Get a better sound guy.
And again, I don't. Band?
Hey,
Tell me real quick.
Who
was the other band, real quick?
On All Sides.
On All Sides.
On All Sides. Yeah. Okay, so you guys
On All Sides and Sons of Cain.
Yeah.
And when's that? What's the date?
June 19th.
That's my birthday.
Effing brew.
Right.
That's my birthday.
We know where you'll
Hey.
be. We know where you'll be.
Come hang out. We'll buy you beers as
Metal.
but yeah, so you and I tried to book forever
Yep.
with Bottomland and Skydweller, and it just never worked out because Cat Daddy O always plays every fucking weekend ever.
Goddamn Cat Daddy.
You know
World
what?
Tour.
They got to make that money.
John, Lou, I love you both. But yeah, it was always a pain. So when you hit us up and you're like, hey, we have this free weekend, I'm like, let's go. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I was kind of down because we talked about doing another one, and I was like, "Oh fuck, well, Unk's open that. It's Friday.
Yeah,
We're always
yeah.
open." And Tim's like, "I'm gonna be in Minnesota."
Damn it, Tim.
I was like, "Damn it."
As far as
Another time though.
as far as goals go, as the band, we got plans on recording a couple more songs and recording stuff with Seiger and some of his ideas, because I really want to do that. Because I know we got like the stuff that we need to get out that's backlogged, but recording with him, I want to really get the stuff out that he has his input on, because I'm really anxious to see what that's going to form out to be.
Well, you got to let him do that too, though, because now he's a part of the band.
Yeah,
and to make it feel like being like, even when we brought Brandon in, we still had some old Bottomland songs that we were doing, some riffs that we really liked, and Brandon changed all that. We only kept like 2 of them, I think.
We kept 1 or 2 songs, and I'm fair game with wiping, just keeping those 2, and let's just roll with what we got with this guy riffing around and me riffing around. Because, like I said, that one riff earlier, man, he had that one hooky riff, and I wrote this cool thing, and it was like nobody dug it, and then I wrote this dirty, just throw up on your shoes riff.
It's always the easy shit. That always gets everybody.
It's an easy riff, and it was just complimented what he did so well. And I'm like, well, that's the ticket, man. I know where we're going to bounce at.
And I think it does help that Caleb and I have played together for so long that we already have kind of a connection. So, and I've known Steve and Bullock for so long that it's not coming into the band didn't feel like a bunch of people I didn't know.
Hey, I'm the new guy.
Yeah, it was like these are all
new,
dudes.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, we've all jammed together and fucked off plenty of times. So it was.
You weren't the new guy showing up with the crate amp.
Well, I can say from seeing you guys last weekend, it sounded good. So
cool.
That's all that matters.
But I wanted to thank you guys for coming on the show. We're gonna shut her down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Thank you guys.
We'll have to do this again, man. This was fun. We'll definitely do it again. And tell the other guys we're sorry for not bringing them in, but as you can tell, there's really not enough room for them.
We can always flip flop.
Yeah, for sure.
Caleb's got some stories. I'm sure Steve does too.
Yeah, for sure.
He's in every band in Southern Illinois.
I think he's in 19 last time I counted.
Oh, Jesus
he
Christ.
could probably be on a show on his own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
real
the
quick.
definition of band horror.
This will take 30 seconds. Here's a cause of room practice. We jam. Caleb and Steve play Primus songs for 30 minutes.
Yes.
And then we jam again.
Nothing
We have
fucking wrong
videos.
with Primus.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Primus.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Hey,
We take a break
thank
midway.
you guys for letting me co-host with you.
Thanks
It
for
was a
having
good time.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks for carrying the
Awesome,
show,
man.
Jones. Shit. I just sit here and hung out and listened.
Hey, big
the
shout
Jones
out.
show. That's
great.
Clarence Kellerman.
Yeah, boy.
Happy dawn.
Getting better every day, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Love
We'll
you,
see you
brother.
next time. Rock.
Cause I'm a face and make me